Okay. Yes. Mr. Raphael Dawkins with the Combat Radio, and we are live. Let me just cut this music for a moment. Let's drop this screen share down. Let's get some visuals. OMG. Let's get this thing lined up. What's going on here? This looks like Rafi's in Technicolor. Normally we're doing the black and white. But sometimes we just adjust some shizzle. I know I've adjusted too. We adjust some shizzle. I think it's actually the light from the TV. I need to get one of them ring lights. The light colors from the TV, it brings in the Technicolor. You get the Rafi in Technicolor. Yeah. Let's have a swig of water as we commence this shiznix. Okay. We're gonna get into this, right? Oh, I'm going into black and white now. I'm going to black and white mode. What's going on? What's Putin playing at? OMG. Hold on, let me see something. Color. Black and white. Color. Black and white. Yo, this shizzle is crazy. Yo. Shizzle is crazy, yo. Howdy, Adius. TT up in the building. Good evening. What's next for Anthony? Origami, landlord Joshua. Yeah, he folded him. John Daly up in the building. How do you do, John? How on earth did AJ hold it down after such a victory? Better out than in. Pressure boss pipe. How did he hold it down? Well, that's a damn good question. I think Joshua's new thing is composure. Keeping composure. You've seen what emotionality can do. You don't want to be over emotional in victory or defeat. And he's had a couple of defeats. And that's informed him. What's the expression that comes to mind? It's treat, praise, and criticism. Treat victory and defeat. Treat the cheers and the boos both as the imposters which they are. So in other words, you gotta take it easy. In the simplest terms. Hold on a second. Where's me goggles? Hold on, I can read it. I don't need them. Evening, Rafi. And Ngannou, love is well and truly over. Based on nothing. Well, it was based on something, wasn't it? It was based on something, and that something still exists. It was based on a story. Let me get me goggles. You want the reflection. You want the reflective qualities. Ngannou love is still there. I still got love for Ngannou. His story is still there. He reached the greatest of heights in the UFC and then stood on principle and said, no, I'm not going to be Dana White's slave. We're not going to do that. I'm going to go out there and craft and shape my own future. That's what I'm gonna do. Shape my own future. What's that spot there? What is it? What is it? Oh, okay. All right. It's just the way the light's reflecting on the Rafi's shoulder. I'm gonna craft my own future. I'm gonna take a risk. I'm gonna go out there in the open market and see what my true market value is. We already done. We done did this. We done did this last week. I was talking to the Leon figures. We pulled up the facts of how the UFC underpay their talent. We done did it. We done did it. After arriving home at 4 a.m., I watched. He said, AJ, need to fight Wilder before Wilder improves. Deluded or what? Well, it's funny, you know. It's funny you come in with that. It's funny, you know. It's funny, you know, because I'm going to talk about who Joshua should be fighting next, potentially. I'm going to give you Rafi's take on it. Francis truly is the African Superman, as Derek christened him. This man was working in sand mines and walked to France. Yeah, pretty much down here, walked to France. And took a boat as well, a little raft. Took a raft. I left the link in the previous last week's live, as I said I would. For Leon. Leon said he never seen him in an interview. I left the link to an interview over there. Check out last week's video. And Francis explained that they had to take a raft to leave the coast of Africa to get over to mainland Europe. And he also revealed that he can't swim. So what's that guy name? Shay Rooms, whatever his name is. He said, you can't swim? He said, I can't swim. He said, you can't swim, but you, what? He said, yeah, but we have life jacket. I said, oh, you got life jackets. Yeah, that's number one. Have life jacket. I said, oh, okay. Yeah, so he boated on a raft over to mainland Europe and then walked to France. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. So obviously they got lifts, hitch lifts, catch, you know, whatever, but they made it. You made it. So the love ain't over. I still got love for Ngannou. Remember, I'm an MMA guy as well as a boxing guy. Boxing first, then went to MMA and come back to boxing, but I'm an MMA guy too. So my exposure, I've been exposed to the story of Ngannou, the reality of Ngannou for many years now, quite a few years. So the love is still there, and he definitely needs his own film in due course. What we're saying, this man was working in sand mines. He has known poverty in a way that we cannot comprehend, only to become a multi-millionaire. Okay, so that's real talk about Francis Ngannou. So the love is still there, my friend. You know what I'm saying? The love, well, for me, I most certainly can say that. And where do we begin? We've already begun. So what am I chopping up here exactly? Okay, well, first of all, that's what friends are for. Matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat, let me put the screen up so you can see I'm gonna be talking about. You can see what I'm gonna be talking about. You can see what I'm gonna be talking about. That knockout showed feather-fisted MMA heavyweights are feather-fisted. I think you're crazy, dog. You know, you'll rock your world. That'll rock your world. Joshua was like Thanos in there. Well, listen, boxers specialize in boxing. And so Joshua was in there in a boxing ring. And Ngannou was in there in a boxing ring. If you want to see how boxers fare in the octagon, then we can already see that. And it's very, very badly. James Toney went in there, thought he was going to box. He got taken down and choked out in short order. I remember watching that Shiznix live. So, boxers specialize in punching. Boxers specialize in punching, whereas MMA guys now, they got a fuller array of talents and skills. Boxers are punching specialists. So if you get into that shizzling, just gonna, then that's all I have to do. Box, throw punches. You know what I mean? Bruce, Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more up in the building. I hope you're well over there, Bruce. Hope you're well. We're talking about punching power, not chokeouts. Well, yeah. Just because you're not talking about a chokeout don't mean you ain't gonna get choked out. Yeah, you step in the boxing ring. It's about boxing. It's about punching. And as far as power is concerned, I don't know if you put Ngannou on a punch machine and put the next man on a punch machine, the boxer on a punch machine, I think it's going to be pretty even. Top punches pretty even. But it's not just about punching. It's about punch technique in a boxing ring versus punch technique in an octagon. If you go in an octagon and you think you're going to set your punches up like you do in boxing, you're going to be on your back quick, fast. You're going to be on your back quick, fast. So the two are not the same. The two things are not the same. You know what I mean? You want to go in the octagon and try that shizzle. Go in the octagon and try that shizzle. You know what I mean? Hold on a second. Let me just get my screen right. Let me just get my screen right. All right. Okay. Let's keep that like that. MMA is mud, wrestling without mud. Yeah, I never got no mud on me, bro. Okay. So, let's talk. Gotta be a different way. There's got to be another way I can do this shiznix. Hold on a sec. Let me try something. Real fast. Let me try something technical. I'm pretty sure I used to be able to do more things, certain things. Okay. That looks all right. That looks less all right. That looks even less all right. That looks even less all right. That looks all right. All right. Okay. So, what is next for Anthony Joshua? We're going to talk about that. Then we're going to do a rundown of the card, break down the card. Okay. What's next for Anthony Joshua? Okay. So, as you all already know, Anthony Joshua made short work of Francis Ngannou. Was I surprised that he made such short work of him? Yes, I was. Because despite what people are saying, despite people thinking that Francis Ngannou ain't worth tuppence now. Go back and watch the fight. Ngannou came real close to landing some thunder. But Joshua's superior boxing skills kept him sliding away. He slipped them. Just about slipped them. You don't think, but you do not for a moment think that Ngannou can't get in there with another top heavyweight and rock his world. Don't you ever think that Francis Ngannou can't get in there with another top 20 heavyweight and discombobulate him from his senses. That's what I'm saying. Don't think that. Think that's at your peril. If you think that, you're making a grave mistake. I know professionals who have subsequently admitted, I admitted it on the night, but I know professional boxers who have subsequently admitted that they were worried. They were worried about what Ngannou could do. Now, as it happens, Joshua outclassed him. And that's what I said. I was depending on Joshua outclassing him in boxing. But can I say I was not worried? No, I cannot. I was concerned. Did I think that Joshua was going to take him out within 2 rounds? No, I did not, and neither did you. If any one of you had made a prediction written down somewhere that you thought Joshua was going to take care of Ngannou within 3 rounds, then raise your hand. Say so. Say so in the chat right now. I'm not expecting anybody to say that, because I never heard anybody say, any sensible person say that in the first place. And admit, you can feel free to admit that you was concerned. Feel free to admit that you were a little bit worried, because I have. I admit it. I was concerned. Cristiano Wu up in the building. Like, subscribe, comment, share, hit all the good buttons from now. Hit all the good buttons from now. Boxers versus MMA fighters are usually just money fights. AJ didn't hold back and KO'd Ngannou, whereas Fury was more concerned about putting on a show for the... What a utter load of crapola. Cristiano Wu. That is an utter, no disrespect intended, but that is an utter load of crapola for you to have the nerve, the audacity, the delusion, the self-delusion to think that Tyson Fury was trying to put on a show and not trying to get Francis Ngannou up out of there as quickly as possible. That shows a level of delusion that's quite impressive, sir. Quite impressive. Ring the bell. Ring the bell for you. That level of delusion is quite impressive. How you can seriously lie to yourself like that. Hey, I'm impressed, brother. I'm impressed. Fury was more concerned about putting on a show for the fans. Nonetheless, Ngannou got a lot richer. You have a level of delusion that is seriously impressive. Salute. Salute to you, Cristiano Wu. Good to have you back up in here, by the way. I miss them delusions. Fight doctor, talking about delusions. Talking about delusional. Where's the fight doctor? Fight doctor, where you at? Put down the mushroom risotto. Stop soaking your mushrooms, brother. Okay. Let's have a look. Facts. MMA attracts second-rate talent. Anyone with serious talent follows the dollars, and that's via boxing. Well, that's ridiculous, my man. That's ridiculous. MMA is an art form. Before it was called MMA, what was it called? No holds barred. Yeah. No holds barred. And if you go back even before that, we were talking about vale tudo. That's Portuguese for anything goes. So it's not about second rate. It's a form of self-defense. I can go into the long history of it. I'm a historian of that particular art. But we're not going to do that right now. Well, maybe we do it. I'm pretty sure I've done it before. Maybe we'll do it again. Well, sure, we'll do it again one day. But we're just cutting through the facts. It's on wax. Most martial artists aren't boxers, correct? Okay. Hold on. Let me wet my throat. So Anthony Joshua went in there and destroyed, annihilated Francis Ngannou. Annihilated the man, took him apart in ways in which you or I never envisaged. Totally impressive. Scintillating performance. The like of which Tyson Fury could only dream of. And well, let me fix my screen. How's that look here? Okay, we'll go with that. Okay. Talk to you in a second, John D. Lee, as he joins us. Okay. So, Anthony Joshua Where does he go next? Well, where is he? Well, where he is in a good place. In a good place. He's in a place where his accumulation of talent, of skills. He's accumulated many skills over the years. Took his raw talent, put some skill on that, and he's accumulated it with different trainers. Should have left Rob McCracken far earlier than he did. In the West Indies, we call that hard ears, when you just won't listen, where sound, where sense won't penetrate. And he was told by many, yo, you best move on. You're still with your high school trainer. You got to move on to your university professor. He wouldn't pay heed. Lennox Lewis told that. Wouldn't pay heed. We told him. Wouldn't pay heed. Probably his mama and his papa told him. Pretty sure his dad told him. Wouldn't pay heed. You know, one of them hard years kids. But eventually, saw for himself. You know, he saw the light for himself and realized he had to look around. And tried some trainers until almost through circumstance, you know, he needed someone local. He was training with Derek James over there in Texas, hot-ass Texas. He needed someone local. And apparently Ben Davidson just lives around the corner. No car drive around the corner, so he started training with Ben in Ben's gym. Not necessarily with Ben, but, you know, yeah, okay. Under Ben's tutelage, and then fight came up. Can't remember the first fight with Ben, but a fight came up. Was it what's that guy? Was it Elanius? Was that his first fight? Was that Joshua's first fight? With Elaine under Ben Davidson? Was it Elanius? Could have been against Elanius, but anyway, let me move on with the story. So eventually,
it was the Wallin fight, Raf.
The Wallin. That was his first fight. That was his first fight with Ben Davidson.
Yeah.
The Wallin.
And it was partly because Derek wasn't available.
Oh.
And it was a quick turnaround as well. So they said that because it was a short notice fight, it wouldn't make sense to go to Texas to then come back and then go to Saudi.
Oh, okay. So Wallin. So it's just his previous fight. This is only second. This is only second.
So the two fights where
he's only second fight with Ben Davidson then.
So the two fights he's looked really good are the last two, and those are the two with Ben. Yeah.
Okay. Aaron Daly says hard ears. It's called hard of hearing. Aaron.
Maybe in Birmingham, Aaron.
Aaron. What you're trying to tell me is that there's only one way to describe something. You're trying to tell me that if anyone says it's called hard of hearing, if anyone refers to a hearing impairment, if they don't refer to it, it's called hard of hearing. If they refer to it by anything else, they are wrong. So by definition, Aaron, that don't make sense, brother. There's many ways to describe things, brother. You're trying to tell me that there's only one way. There is only one way. Can you see how crazy that is, my brother?
The thing is, Raf, hard of hearing is when you have a medical impairment, when you actually have deafness.
Yes.
Whereas you're talking about someone being stubborn.
Yes, Aaron. So you're wrong again, Aaron. So we're not talking about a medical impairment. We're talking about an attitude. We're talking about a mode of thinking, Aaron. Please, Aaron, please understand that if anyone comes to you and tell you there's only one way, by definition, they're most likely wrong, my friend. There's only one way? Really? Are we sure about that, Aaron? Come on now. Let's get our thinking caps on. We heard how Ngannou's chin was bulletproof. Hold on, I never bought into that. No man's chin is uncrackable.
The reason that narrative was out there is because he's allegedly, and I don't know because I don't follow it, never been rocked in MMA.
Well, he's been rocked. I mean, I can't tell you where, but he's been everybody's been rocked. Everybody's been rocked.
Well, I am of the opinion though that the striking in boxing is harder than in MMA.
Well, it's different. We can get onto that. But anyway, let's get through.
All right,
let's get through this. We heard how Ngannou's chin was bulletproof and how it had withstood kicks. Yeah, true. Elbows, true. Knees, true. Punches, true. And nobody managed to knock him down. That is correct. Nobody managed to knock him down. Yet he folded the second Joshua laid hands on him. Yeah, because it was a man. He was in front of a man who only that's all he does. Punches people in the face. That's the specialism of the thing, bro. I'm getting through these comments.
But Raf, just quickly, he did eat every single punch that Fury landed on him, and he made no attempt to defend himself against Fury's punches, including Fury's elbow.
Well, yeah. So there you go.
So I think there are some points that maybe just Joshua hits really hard.
Yeah. Maybe if you're up against one of the hardest hitters in the sport, maybe you fall too. You know what I mean? Maybe, just maybe. I'm not saying you would. Maybe, just maybe. Not disparaging your chin, please. Don't take offense. It's hard years. You don't listen. Hard years, you'll feel it. Thank you. Thank you. My first time hearing that terminology. Well, you've learned something new today, Aaron. That's why I was sent. I was sent here to tell people things they never heard about before and chop up things you may have heard. But anyway, listen. Let's move on. Mr. Dawkins, you also heard about the thickness of Ngannou's neck. Yeah, it's a thick neck. Listen, when you're up against a guy who only trains, whose sole motivation, whose prime motivation every day is to perfect a punch to the jaw, is to perfect a discombobulating punch. It's a different animal. It's a different beast. In MMA, there's a lot more to learn, so you don't have the ability. There's not enough hours in the day for you to spend as much time perfecting boxing, punching, like there is in boxing. Well, that's the only thing you got to do. 2 hands. Those are your only weapons, 2 hands. Whereas in boxing, it's your fists, it's the elbows, it's the knees, it's the shin, it's the foot. There's a lot more things to learn. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that boxers who specialize in punching have better punching technique. But hold on a second. I'm trying to get this thing off. I'm trying to give my soliloquy here, and then the floor's open. So, what are we saying? Okay, so where is Anthony Joshua now? Okay, well, I put it to you that Anthony Joshua is at somewhere near the apex of his game. Why? Why do you say that, Rafi? Well, listen, he's gathered all that experience, good and bad. Physical experience, mental experience, emotional experience. Okay? So see, that's either going to make you or it's going to break you. Anthony Joshua has chosen to let it make him and not break him. Okay, Anthony Joshua is 34. Tyson Fury, I think, is 35. There's only about a year and a half gap in them, a year and a bit gap in them, between them. Anthony Joshua has found a happy place between aggression and defense. And I'm happier that he's with Ben Davidson than I was when he was with Derek James. No disrespect to Derek James, but I think that Ben Davidson's game is more nuanced. There are more wrinkles to his game. He is more defensively sound than Derek James. I think Derek James' style is more aggressive. It's a more aggressive style, but it's not as defensively nuanced. You can have a longer. You take 10. Give me 10 amateurs, or give me 10 new pros. Give me 10 new pros to start under Derek James and have their whole careers under. And let's say they have a 15-year pro career. Give me 10 boxers who turn pro with Derek James and they have a 15-year pro career. Then give me 10 boxers to turn, or heavyweight boxers. Then give me 10 boxers to turn pro under Ben Davidson, and they also have 15-year careers. I'm telling you that I expect that the boxers fighting under Ben Davidson overall would have less brain damage at the end of it. That's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying to you, and that matters. So defensively, more nuanced. Defensively, more nuanced is Ben Davidson. And he works with other people as well. It's not just Ben. It's a team of people. And I think Joshua has found his sweet spot with Ben Davidson, or if he's not always with Ben Davidson, someone who is more nuanced, aggression and defensively more nuanced, more technical. So I'm happy he's with Ben, and I think he's happy he's with Ben. And I think we're seeing perhaps some of his best work with Ben. The thinking man is clearly a thinking man. Sometimes he's an overthinking man. But I think Ben Davidson simplifies the damn thing. Remember when he was sitting in the corner against Usyk the first time, and he was asking for advice? What is clear direction? Joshua was asking his corner for clear direction. That's a bad scene. And I'm glad McCracken was gone. He should have gone earlier. Not that he never did anything good for Joshua, but Joshua stayed with him for too long. Let us move on. I'm going to open the floor in a second, but we've just got to get through this soliloquy. So where is Joshua now? Okay. Joshua is coming up to the apex of his where his skills meet his talents, meet his natural ability, meet his taught ability. Everything's coming together. Everything's blending up in the pot very, very nicely. And who next? Who next for Anthony Joshua? Well, let me tell you this. I've always thought that Anthony Joshua beats Tyson Fury, even when Tyson Fury sent him a cheeky offer after he'd just been beaten by Usyk. What was that, 2022? At the end of 2022, I think, December 2022. Fury said early December. Joshua said, nah, I just fought. Make it late December. You got a deal. Fury said, nah, because I'm fighting Usyk. I'm fighting Usyk in February. That was a load of crapola. Didn't happen. You could have fought Joshua late December 2022. Fury declined. There's a long list of Fury declining to meet Anthony Joshua, and I think I know why. It's because I've always believed that Anthony Joshua spanks Tyson Fury. And I said it. I made a video about it. I said, well, who's in the house? Who would like to see Tyson? Who would you rather see? I did a poll, so I bring up the poll. Who would you rather see? Oh, I can bring this up. I can show and tell. I can show and prove. We're not just talking here. We're not just talking. Who would you rather see Tyson Fury up against next? Was the question. And the answer I can show you. Who would you rather see Tyson Fury up against next? Let's have a look. I wonder if you can see that clearly. Now the rain is gone. Now the pain is gone. What you did was still wrong. Okay. Who do you want to see Fury fight next? Option 2. Option 1, Alexander Usyk. Option 2, Anthony Joshua. And you'd expect an overwhelming majority to go with Usyk because that's for undisputed. But whereas in reality, the scores are Anthony Joshua 41% and Alexander Usyk 59%. So what's that? If you give him 2 more percent, that's 61%. Yeah. So there's 18% difference. It's only an 18% difference That's pretty damn close. Take 10% off Usyk, that's 49. Give 10% to Joshua, that's 51. That is a close vote. When you think that a significant amount of people would rather see Tyson Fury fight Anthony Joshua and bypass put Undisputed on the layaway, on the back burner for a second. But I came up, I did a video. If you haven't checked out the video, check out the video. It's the last video I did. And as I was doing the video, I thought to myself, okay, the thrust of the video was that, well, why don't Tyson Fury just skip Undisputed? Because that's not what we really want. What we really want is, certainly in Britain, and maybe worldwide, what we really want is Joshua versus Fury. That's what we really want. But realistically, listen, the deal's already been made. So what else? What else could we say? How could we make something work? How could we make something work? And I came up with a compromise. Let me stand up because my ass is getting numb. I came up with a compromise. And that compromise was, move this out the way. Okay. And that compromise was, where are we? Are we good? Are we good over there? Are we good over here? Are we good over there? Okay. And that compromise was Tyson Fury fights Alexander Usyk in May. But no immediate rematch. I've never really been one for immediate rematch. So rather than an immediate rematch, Tyson Fury then fights, win or lose. Tyson Fury then fights Anthony Joshua late in that year. Then early next year, 2025, a second undisputed fight can take place. So under this program, Tyson Fury gets to fight Alexander Usyk. If he's good enough, he'll beat him. That's in May. End of the year, he fights Anthony Joshua. Then early 2025 or second quarter, whichever, there's a second undisputed fight. So that is my roadmap. Would it work? Would it fly? I don't know. But I'm the one. I've come up with it. I'm the one. I've come up with a blueprint. I've come up with a game plan. I've come up with a blueprint. I've come up with a game plan. It's up to His Excellency, our Turkey, to either take it or reject it. But don't say Rafi didn't try. Okay, so we got that. We got that. Hold on a second. Let me just check. Something. Hold on a second. Can people hear me?
I think it might have been at my end, Raf. I can hear you now. That's
Okay, coolio. So what's happened to my screen anyway? Let's take that down a little bit. This is strange. Where's the comments? Oh, okay. Everything's good again. Okay. So there's the blueprint for Turkey Al Sheikh. Right. Now, who should Anthony Joshua fight next? I'm going to open up the table. I'm going to open up the floor in a second. I just want to get these things off the top of my dome while I had them on the top of my dome. Who should Anthony Joshua fight next? Well, I got one, Filip Hrgović, that's available. We can talk about Hrgović. Two, who he shouldn't fight next. I'll say who he shouldn't fight next. Joseph Parker. Anthony Joshua should not fight Joseph Parker next. Why? Well, do I talk about it now? Do I talk about it later? Well, I'll come back to that one. Okay. I've got a reason. Well, I'll tell you now. The reason is, short and swiftly, Parker is doing well. He beat Deontay Wilder. Simple game plan. Nice and simple. That's all it took. Nice. Credit. He then went on to beat, but it's disputable. I hear a lot of people disputing it. But he then went on to beat Zilly Zhang Bang. Did he do anything spectacular there? No, he didn't. But he used a simple game plan. Did he do a lot? Not really. Did he knock Zhang out? No. So how good is he? He's good. He's a good pupil. He's a good student. He's listening to Andy Lee. And Andy Lee's giving him. Andy Lee's obviously a better teacher than his previous coach. And he's receptive to him. Cool. Is that enough? Is it really scintillating? Parker v. Joshua? Nah. Joshua's beat him already, and I think Joshua will beat him again, handily. So why do I need to see that? Not really. No. If they make the fight, will I watch it? Sure. But is it an earth mover? Not really. Not really necessary. Not really. I'll watch it if they make it, but no, it's not on my hit list. So Parker's out, Hrgovic in. Who else would I see him against? Well, this one's going to surprise a lot of people. Especially people who might remember making a suggestion to me before and me rejecting it. And that person is Andy Ruiz Jr. You heard me right. I rejected the notion previously saying I'm not interested. I am interested now. Why am I interested now but not before? Because now I believe that Anthony Joshua has found his sweet spot. Not that he can't get better within the sweet spot, but he's found his sweet area. The blend between defense and attack. You see the defense when he defended against Ruiz in the rematch. Do you see his defense then? A lot of foot movement, a lot of circling. Now, it would be a more educated foot defense. It wouldn't be so much circling around. It'd be less steps. He'd take half the steps. He'd take a fraction of the amount of steps that he took in that rematch, but it would be more effective. Distancing is better. He could stay out of the range of the snapping turtle Ruiz. Don't worry, John. I'm going to give you a chance to come back to all of this. He'd stay out of the range of the snapping turtle Andy Ruiz, but then get in. His understanding of range, far better, far more deadly. And Derek James helped with that as well. I could see him working the range against Hellenius. Took him a while to get there. Ben Davidson has sharpened him up. So worked on it with the Texan. Worked on it with Derek James. Refined it with Ben Davidson. He's there now. He's in a place where I believe he could put on a very entertaining and destructive show against Andy Ruiz Jr. This is the point that I've been waiting for him to arrive at. I think he's there now. I think he can fight Andy Ruiz Jr. the way I'd want him to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. with a subtle blend of attack and a very subtle blend of defense. Not circling all the way around the ring. No. Side step, back step, side step, front step. Much more educated. Hrgovic, I've already said Hrgovic. Hrgovic comes from the family of Parker a little bit. Maybe a heavier hitter. Than Parker. Hrgovic a heavier hitter than Parker. Yeah. Yes. So Hrgovic, we got Hrgovic on the line. We've got Andy Ruiz in the yes camp for me. And I got another zinger for you. Because remember, he's waiting on Fury. I got another zinger for you. Guess who I want to see him against next? Guess who's in the yes list for next? Deontay Mother-ucker Wilder. Deontay Wilder. You heard it. He's on the list. He's third on the list. Hrgovic is 1. Andreas the Punch Ruiz is 2. Deontay Mother-ucker Wilder is 3 on the list. Why, Rafi? Why? Well, because listen, there's a synergy. And this, I'm coming to the end of it now, John. Don't worry. There's a synergy between Joshua fighting Ngannou and Joshua fighting Deontay Wilder. And what is the synergy? 2 of the allegedly most destructive beings on the planet. He's already taken care of one, Francis Ngannou. There's only one left. There's only one killer, alleged killer puncher left. And that is Deontay Wilder. And what does Anthony Joshua do to Deontay Wilder? Well, we don't know until they get in the ring. But what I think Anthony Joshua takes Deontay Wilder apart piece by piece, limb by limb. Joseph Parker showed what I suspected for a long time. And that is that if Deontay Wilder comes into contact with a legit top 10 guy, not just in one body, not just in 2 body, but a consensus top 10 guy, a Ring Magazine top 10 guy who's been top 10 for a while, I always maintained that Deontay Wilder would be exposed like a lady of the night. Didn't like the way that faded out. So you've got 1, Philippe Hrgovic. 2, Andreas the Ponce Ruiz, the trilogy. 3, Deontay Wilder. 1 fight deal. 1 fight deal. None of this 3-fight bullshit. Deontay will take your 5 to 10 million and get in the ring and let's see what unfolds. So there you have it. That's Rafi's manifesto, Rafi's views on Anthony Joshua. I think he takes Tyson Fury. I've thought that for the longest time. I've always thought that. And Joshua is only getting better. Whereas Tyson Fury, well, where is he? Where is he on this timeline of his career? On this timeline of inconsistency? On this timeline of cherry picking? Where is he? While Joshua was carrying the damn sport on his back when he wasn't fully ready, prepared. He wasn't fully ready, prepared, but he's still doing it. And now he's coming. Everything under the sun has its season. Now he's coming into his time where everything is aligning. And that is my manifesto for Anthony Joshua. John Daly, there's a lot there to get through.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be quick as well because I've got to be up early.
Go.
So just to rewind it a little bit, I don't know that Ngannou has a bad chin. People who are putting it out there that he hasn't got a good chin are being disrespectful to Anthony Joshua, in my opinion.
Very much so.
Because I doubt any of those people saying that thought that Anthony Joshua was going to finish him in the second round. Whatever anybody wants to say about Fury's punches, they were hard enough to give Deontay Wilder fits. And they didn't even make Francis blink. And he unloaded on him on multiple occasions. So that's the first thing. As to whether boxers punch harder than the striking in MMA, personally I think they do, but that isn't necessarily relevant to how good or bad Francis's chin is. So that's that. In terms of next opponents, I think Hrgovic is the number 1 logical choice because of his positioning with the mandatory for the IBF. After that, everybody on your list is good. You may as well fight Wilder if you can get him in the ring, because otherwise the fight will probably never happen if you don't do it this year, because he's not getting any younger and he's only in it for the money as far as I can tell. To your list, names that I would add, I'd add Bicoli. I think that's a good fight. I'd also put him in there with Daniel Dubois as well. I mean, at this point, Joshua hasn't got any responsibilities. Him fighting anybody in the top 10, I think, is fair enough. Particularly if he's going to fight again in the summer. Like the two things that you've said about Anthony Joshua coming into his own, I think are really pertinent, because I haven't really seen any slippage in his athletic ability yet. And this is because he's consistently led the life. So there isn't necessarily a reason for him to have lost anything physically yet. And where there was always a gap with Anthony Joshua was skill. But because he's diligently worked hard on improving his skill, he's been closing that gap. And he's always had better athletic gifts than everybody else. I mean, just to put it into context, this is a man who's 6'6", always somewhere between 17 and 18 stone, who can run the 100 meters in under 11 seconds.
Yeah.
So that shows and demonstrates how athletically gifted he is. But there was a skills gap. And there might still be a skills gap between him and Tyson Fury. But he's closed it enough where that isn't going to matter, because his athletic gifts are so much better that nobody's going to be able to live with him. And as for the narrative about his chin, well, he hasn't been dropped since he fought Andy Ruiz. He keeps getting in the ring with heavyweights. Pretty much any heavyweight can put you down.
Yeah.
And we're still hearing this narrative. Now, he has gone through the crucible in terms of his mental state. Yeah. And I think we could see that in the ring, but it's settled now. He has gone through the adversity and come out the other side. And normally that does make you stronger. And I think that's what we see. But people just think that everything's fixed and cast in stone, don't they? Everybody's convinced he hasn't got a chin because he went in with Andy Ruiz, who is a dangerous puncher if you stand and trade with him in the pocket. And he got buzzed, but he got up from every single time he got put down. So is his chin really that bad? I don't know. But because people think things are fixed, that's stuck with everybody.
Yeah.
So I agree that I think we are seeing the best of Anthony Joshua, and the reason it's come late is because he had a skills gap to close. And because he has worked diligently at closing that skills gap and maintaining himself physically, that's why he's been able to achieve a later peak. And I think he did learn from Derek James.
Yeah.
I think he's learned from all of his other trainers. And I think Ben Davidson has actually given him a bit of a eureka moment of just how to put it all together. And I think really that's what he's done.
Shout out to Ben Johnson.
All right. I've got to go, Raf. I'm up at 5:30.
Hey, much respect and appreciation.
Thanks for having me on. And,
much respect.
I'll catch up on the rest of the show later.
Much respect and appreciation to the John D. Lee. It's got an early start, but hey, had to spend some time over here at the RD. Well, chose to spend some time over here at the RDCR to share his thoughts. Share his thoughts with me, you, the whole damn universe. And well thought out as per usual. And as we bring in our man from the Oceania region, Joseph Parker country, could only be the Big Boys Boxing. Big Boys Boxing, how do you do?
I am good, thank you, Riffy. How are you, mate?
Sorry for y'all later. A colleague fell out with me over a conversation about Deontay Wilder.
Oh dear.
He walked off. He said, "You think that?" Well, he basically said, "I'm not talking to you anymore. Like a girl. I'm going to torture him tomorrow. You have been warned."
Should be fun.
He waltzed stuff like a little 3-year-old girl. He flounced stuff. I'm going to torture that boy tomorrow. Watch.
Enjoy.
I'm going to be very gentle about it. I'm actually going to play the game. I'm going to play the corporate game. I'm going to act. I'm going to let him act out. I'm going to let him flounce past me a few times. I'm going to let him do it all day. I'm going to be a really nice guy. And then the day after, I'm going to ask for one of the management if they could mediate because he's not talking to me anymore. I'm going to come in like the victim. I'm going to say, but we're supposed to be a team. How can we be a team if one of my team members won't talk to me? I just want us to be, you know, we don't have to hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but surely we don't have to cut off communications. I just need some help. That's the Rafi's dastardly plan. But if you're going to act like a girl, then maybe I should just treat you like a biatch. How about that? How about that? Big grown man flouncing off. I'm not talking to you anymore. What the fuck is this world coming to?
It's pretty funny, these fans that get emotionally invested in boxers. Why? It's not like they're getting paid. It's not like they even know the people, but some people, it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. I've said a lot of stuff, and to recap, I've said that Anthony Joshua's coming into his own now. His natural ability coupled with the skills he has acquired along the way from his various trainers, from the amateur days, from his days with McCracken, Joby Clayton, all of his accumulated trainers along the years. I think, including Derek James, I think it's coming to a perfect pinnacle now. On the pinnacle, you see that? Damn, the pyramids. They said they couldn't figure out how to build the pyramids. Rafi just broke the code. Look at it. So, from Joby Clayton to Derek James in Texas, I think it's coming to a pinnacle now. The guy's 34. It's not a kid anymore. And I think it's coming to a pinnacle under Ben Davidson. It's coming to a pinnacle where talent. I thought that was a friggin' biggest spider I ever saw in the corner there. It's your camera or whatever it is. I thought you need to kill that bastard. So it's come to a pinnacle. I've said who I want to see him fight next. I ideally want to see him fight Tyson Fury next, but that ain't happening. Tyson Fury is contractually obliged to Usyk. I've come up with a compromise for Turkey Al-Sheikh, His Excellency. I've said let him have one undisputed fight. Let Fury come over and fight Joshua, because that's the fight I think most people really want to see over Usyk. Everybody's excited, including myself. But let him fight Usyk. Let him come back, win, lose, or draw, and fight Joshua, because I really don't like back-to-back rematches anyway, the best of times. Let him fight Joshua, and then I don't even care if he goes back and fights Usyk off a loss to Joshua. I really don't care. Just let him fight Joshua, and then let another undisputed fight take place early 2025. So we get an undisputed in 2024. We get Fury v. Joshua in 2024, and we get the second undisputed fight in 2025. That's what I'm saying. I'm just giving you out there so you can roll with it. I'm also saying the Parker fight, if they make it, I'll watch it, but it's not particularly scintillating to me. So that can go in my whatever category. In my yes category is Hrgovic. Although, is Hrgovic going to be next for Joshua? I really don't know. I don't know if that's particularly what's going to get our Turkey's juices flowing. I think what was more likely to get our turkey's juices flowing, and to be honest with you, my juices flowing is Joshua versus, wait for it, Andreas the Punch Ruiz. Why? Because now I think that Joshua can fight Ruiz the way I want to see him fight Ruiz. Not attacking, yes, but defensive doesn't mean doing a big circle around the ring. Defensive means what we saw him do against well, what we see, the kind of footwork we saw him use against Ngannou. And who did he fight? Who did he just fight beforehand? Before Ngannou.
Yes.
Wallin.
Oh, Wallin, yeah.
Yeah. So use some of that new style now, the new style, the more refined style. I want to see him use that refined style against Andreas the Punch Ruiz, not going all around the ring, just doing tactical moves, tactical, lateral, sideways, backward, forward moves. Yeah, you haven't got to be waltzing all around the ring. So this time I want to see him beat Ruiz in a manner where people can sit down and shake their heads and say, yes, that's how we want to see you beat Ruiz. So Ruiz is number 2. Hrgovic 1, Ruiz 2. And here's the bigger shocker. People have heard it before, but there must probably people tuning in now. Here's the real big shocker. I want to see him in against, there's a synergy, who are considered to be the two of the biggest hitters in the game. Francis Ngannou and Deontay Mother Wilder. Still coming off a loss for Joseph Parker, but guess what? He will have had to, there is no excuse now. You lost against Parker. Your appetite should be at its highest. Your motivation should be at its highest. There can be no excuse. Put him in there. One fight deal. No arguments. Deontay Wilder. That's my 3rd pick. Over to you, Jono.
Man,
the floor is yours.
The logical choice for me is definitely Filip Hrgovic. Anthony had his money grab fight or gimmick fight or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Come out looking spectacular, but if he's pursuing a world title again, the next in line is the IBF. So I'm sure Filip Hrgovic will take that fight in a heartbeat, considering the paycheck he'll get.
Right.
But the second one for me has got to be Martin Bakole, who's ranked number 1 with the WBA.
Okay.
That'll get him into a mandatory position.
Yeah.
It will be in line behind whoever wins the Parker Zhang rematch, of course, because the last one we had was the WBA with Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
Before that was Kubrat Pulev, the IBF. Before that was the WBO. So next in rotation is WBO again.
Yeah.
Unless the WBC pull finger and decide to install a mandatory, which they haven't done for a long time.
For real.
And number 3.
Yeah.
The number 3.
Put Parker in there.
Well, he's busy. He's busy.
No.
He's tied up with rematches. So
Yeah.
unless Zhang doesn't take the rematch, of course. But I did hear Frank Warren has told Joseph Parker, we'll find you a better fight than the Zhili Zhang rematch. Obviously, he wants to get Daniel Dubois or Joe Joyce in there, but I don't know how he's going to get around that contract anyway. But it's besides the point. I think number 3 for me would probably have to be. I don't like the Andy Ruiz fight. I don't like the fact that he's been too inactive, and I don't think we get the best Ruiz.
Yeah.
Because of his inactivity.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind the fight. So I would like the fight if Andy was busy and he'd been showing that he deserves a top level fight, but as it sits, I don't think so. So maybe the winner of Cabiel Sanchez is a possibility. And I can't think of anything else that, all the American fighters seem to be pretty inactive at the moment.
Too soon for Jared. Too soon for Jared Anderson. Too
Yeah,
soon.
that's what I was going to say next. Yeah, a bit too soon for Jared Anderson. He needs to get some more rounds in against some better level competition. We saw the trouble Charles Martin gave him. So,
Yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
they were
think
saying he was going to kick. They were saying he'd kick Anderson would kick Joshua's ass though before the Charles Martin fight, and he went quiet.
yeah, real quiet now. Real quiet. Haven't heard a peep out of that boy since that fight. So, yeah. I want to see F.A. Jugba and Jared Anderson get it on, and maybe that'll be a gateway into a high level fight. Whoever wins that.
Yeah, yeah, for real, for real. Talk to me about the fights. Anthony Joshua first, and then the Joseph Parker Zhang.
Well, Joshua, I know it's a common theme everybody's been saying. He did what he was supposed to do. He did what Tyson Fury was supposed to do, but that fat bag of milk couldn't do a goddamn thing. He nearly lost. So,
yeah,
he did a great thing against Ngannou. He showed what the experience in a boxing ring can actually do against a novice. I expected Ngannou to maybe last a few more rounds. I was thinking Joshua will stop him rounds 8 or 9 or something like that. Yeah. But kudos to Joshua. He didn't mess around. Get paid for overtime. He's seen the opening. He took it 3 times, and geez, I thought the man was dead for a minute. He went down so heavy.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
It was crazy, right? So I also really did like the class Joshua showed after the stoppage. So that was good to see. He showed some good respect, and thought maybe they can do some charity work down the line and all the rest of it. So that was awesome. But Joshua did he did better than what he was supposed to do. So big ups to him. He's on a roll.
He's on a roll. So what's the change in Joshua? Have you seen the change? Is he more composed? Is he more clinical? What's the change? To what is there a change, and if so, to what do you subscribe that change?
To a degree, it's hard to gauge if there's that much of a change being in against a novice, But he did look very good against Otto Wallen as well. Ben Davidson, I think, has definitely made a change. He's kind of given him direction. He's been around a fair few different coaches and picked up a lot of tools here and there, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it can be confusing, with coaches' theories all crossing over. But he's got Ben Davidson there, and he's clear, concise, and tells him what tools he needs to be using at what times, and they seem to be gelling. So that seems to be a real big thing with heavyweights at the moment. If you've got a good coach you can gel with, we've seen the same with Joseph Parker and Andy Lee. We've also seen it with Daniel Dubois and what's his name?
Daniel Dubois and
Bora's old coach.
Yeah. What's his name?
Don Charles. Yeah, they seem to be gelling really well as well. So these guys that are gelling with their coaches are having some real good success, and we need to see more of that.
For real. The Iron Kong's waiting in the wings. Will talk to me about Joseph Parker.
Yeah, well, I was on the edge of my seat for the fight. Not that I was extremely excited, because I thought our boy was winning and whatnot, but the threat of that power from the Big Bang, the fight could have been over at any point. That straight left in the 3rd round, Joe never saw it coming. Yeah, it was just bang. His hands are so quick, deceptively quick for a really big man. And that knockdown in the 8th, that was a little bit different. He kind of got hooked in the back of the head a little bit, but that's what happens when you duck down so low so often. But the rest of the fight, in and out with his combinations, not hanging around in there for the big man to lean on, throwing the good body shots to wear him down quicker. He did didn't start with the body shots much, but after that first knockdown, they knew he had to do something. And I mean, after the fourth round, it seemed like Zhili Zhang was gassed. He was too heavy. He needed to come in 20 pounds lighter. But
291,
yeah,
291, 291
yeah, man.
pounds. What the hell is that all about?
Heaviest of his career. I don't know what the hell's going on there, whether he got a bit of a big head after knocking Joe Joyce out, thinking he could just do the same. But it's a very different target, isn't it, with somebody who moves? So, yeah, hopefully it's just he underestimated Joe Parker because he is getting near the end of his career. Hopefully it's not the age making him pack on weight and
42,
lose
42.
stamina.
He's 42. He's
Hey?
42. He's 42. Zhili Zhang, 42.
No, he's 40. He turns 41 in September or something.
Oh, okay. I listen to probably an LDBC channel getting in my head. What the hell? What was I doing listening to that?
Yeah, I was just doing a stream earlier and I went and looked up the age. So, because I knew he was getting closer to 41, I couldn't remember whether it was the first Joe Joyce fight or the second Joe Joyce fight. He was 17 days away from turning 40. So it was one or the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens if he takes. Well, if Frank forces him to not take the rematch or what's going on. But yeah, I'm interested in that rematch as well. I'd rather see Joe move on, of course, but contracts are contracts, so let's see. But big ups to Joe Parker. He's come a long way in the last 4 fights since he's had George Lockhart on board. You know, he was 247 pounds for this. I thought that was slightly heavy, but he doesn't look as heavy. No, he looks in very good condition. So around 245 to 250 seems okay for Parker.
Yeah, it does. It does indeed. And in comes the man, our man in the Caribbean. I ain't heard from the Iron Kong in a while. He's got big things going on. We're still spared some time to come and join us and share his thoughts and observations with us here at the RDCR. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and put some money in the coffers. Come on, you cheap bastards. All right, let's go. Iron Kong, talk to me.
No, I know it must be late. What's up, big boys? First time I seen your face, man. What's up?
Ugly,
Smelling salts.
I was like, whoa, big boy, show his face. Who's this person? Who's this?
Yeah,
anyway,
he's just showing. He's still got the face from the boy band days, you know.
Yeah. It's a young man.
Hey man, I get asked for ID when I go and buy alcohol. It makes me feel really good.
Yeah, you got a young man's face. Who's this person?
Yeah, man.
I am in my mid-40s, so.
Yeah, it's all that New Zealand lamb down there. It's all that New Zealand
mate.
Lamb. And the fresh air. The sea breeze. It's the sea breeze.
Funny story, right? So I bought my sub for the Zone because here the Zone is still like $10 a month.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I get all the pay-per-views free.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna pay my $10. I'm gonna come home and watch Anthony Joshua fighting Ngannou. So, I go out, I do my rounds or whatever, and I come home
excited,
settled in. The effing fight's over.
Oh my god!
You didn't miss it, did you?
Miss everything. I'm like, because I'm like,
You're thinking the American streaming time. You're thinking American time.
No, I was on time because I was like, okay, I'm gonna come home. Parker and Zhang are fighting. That's an alright fight, but I'm gonna time Joshua versus Ngannou. I'm gonna time it because they're gonna walk out by it was like 8:30 my time.
Yeah,
But I was like, I don't want to see no walkout, bro. I get home thinking, yo, this gonna be an alright fight. Joshua gonna take him into mid rounds and knock him out. 2 rounds.
Damn.
Fight's over. I go online. I'm seeing everybody saying, "Oh my God, Joshua just knocked out Francis." I'm like, "What? Already?"
So hold on. You saw the Parker fight.
Yes.
And you stepped away.
So I was like, okay, it's a hard fight, but I'm like, I'm gonna chill on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna chill on that. You know what I mean? I want, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come back I do my rounds or whatever. I'm gonna come back for the Joshua fight. I'm timing the fight. Rafi.
Oh, damn.
Joshua knocked out this man in 2 rounds. I was like, oh man, this didn't see nothing, brethren.
Crazy. Bad.
Didn't even have time to open your beer.
Nothing. The fight was over. I'm like, because I'm thinking, okay, is this gonna go about like 7 rounds? Joshua gonna take his time, break him down, beat him up a little bit. He gonna get tired because he was gassed out with Tyson Fury, and Joshua gonna put him away.
Yeah.
I'm not knowing. Joshua's like, bro, I'm not here for no overtime.
No.
I'm here to do work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this man in his place, back in his box, mail him back to Bati, Cameroon tonight. First DHL truck smoking out of there. He on that truck back to Cameroon.
He's probably been on under a few DHL trucks. You know what I mean? On his journey north.
Oh, Rafi, what? So I had to end up downloading the fight. I mean, it wasn't much of a fight because pretty much it was, I watched it on highlights anyway. It wasn't much of a fight. The highlights pretty much showed everything because it was only 2 rounds to show.
Yeah.
Watch Anthony Joshua put an absolute beating on this man. And it was like, oh, AJ. I mean, it looked, Rafi, the last punch, right?
Yeah.
They could have stopped the fight on the overhand right that Joshua caught him with. Like the 3rd big punch he caught him with in the 2nd round. The first big punch in the 2nd. They could have stopped the fight right there.
Yes.
In my opinion, I think Ngannou's team did him a disservice.
Yeah.
Because after Joshua caught him with that counter overhand, that pull counter.
Yeah.
And dropped him in the 2nd round for the 2nd time.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you should have seen there's only one thing coming after this.
Yeah.
Ngannou's not going to get up and fight back. There's only one. Because when he fell, he looked completely gone. He looked finished. He got about like 9.
Yeah.
This man still has a career in MMA.
Yeah.
Rafi, Joshua walked up with his fist ball up.
Yeah.
And just Lego.
Yeah.
Thump off this man. Thump him in the face.
Fastball.
I was like, basically, it was like a pace bowler.
Yeah.
Bowling at the nets.
Yeah. Ambrose Mendy.
Just
Ambrose, whatever his name was.
Courtney Ambrose.
Yeah, Courtney Ambrose, yeah.
And he just gave him everything, Rafi. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, straight.
I was really like, yo, Joshua might have ended this man's career because you see like how they say like Joe Joyce can't take punches no more?
Yeah.
I told people it wasn't Zhilei Zhang that did that. That was Joe Joyce. That was Joe Parker. In the Joe Parker fight, he was catching Joe Joyce with some big shots. But Joyce didn't go down. When Zhang caught him, in my opinion, Joyce's chin had already cracked. It was gone.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Talking about the Joe Parker
Saturation point.
Exactly.
Saturation point.
He beat Joe Parker, but Joe Parker might have pretty much ended his chin because Parker was catching him. Big shots.
They need to do it again, but carry on.
So, that fight with Zhang, I heard you ask Zhang came at 290 something pounds.
291 pounds.
Whoever is in charge of Zhang's training should be ashamed of himself.
I heard somebody say that Zhang's strength and conditioning coach owes Zhilei Zhang a refund.
But of course, I mean, these people, 291, you already have issues with your gas tank.
Big issues.
There's no way you could be 290 nothing pounds.
No way.
And what? That's going to make your gas tank better? How did you think Joseph Parker was going to... Yes, his timing is good. I'm not going to... Zhang has impeccable timing.
Yes.
But how did he imagine Joseph Parker was going to fight him? Straight up? Just in his face? No, he going to move. He going to use his feet. He going to try and drag you down into later rounds. Because they know you don't have no gas tank.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed.
Something is I think my opinion is Zhang has some physical ailment, could be a joint issue in the knee, the ankle. I suspect that Zhang has a joint issue or an injury which prevents him from doing optimal cardio training. And as a result, he can't step into the ring with optimal cardio because he's not prioritizing his cardio training. And that's the one thing that he needs to prioritize. So I think he has some ailment somewhere, if not in the knee, in the ankle, or in the hip, somewhere in the lower body, lower half of the body, that prevents him from doing optimal cardio training. And as such, we will never see him. He's 40 now. We will never see him with good cardio. That's what I'm saying. That's my hypothesis.
No, well, I mean, it has to be that because after you almost, have to go into surgery after Jerry Forrest.
Yeah.
I mean, did you think everybody gonna fight you like how Joe Joyce fights a man who just stands there and just tries to pressure with punches? No, people already know your Achilles heel is your cardio.
Yeah.
You know, man, I was 290 something pounds. It makes sense. That man has a Lamborghini gas tank with a tractor body.
For real.
Awful.
Or is there a Lamborghini engine with a mini gas tank?
Yep. But that's my two takeaways from that night. I didn't get to see it, but I had to download the actual fight online from my torrent sites, and thankfully there's a lot of pirates out there.
And I've never successfully navigated one of them things to watch it on them sites. I've never got past the pop-ups.
No, I'm not talking about stream. I'm talking about actually download the actual video.
Oh, okay.
But that was my 2 cents. Hey, big boys, your man Justice Hooney, man, he weathered the storm.
Talk about that.
He did. Kind of went how I thought it was going to be. To be honest, I was picking Justice by decision, but shit, he nearly didn't get out of there alive in that last round. If Kevin Lorena had a bit better stamina, he could have been in some real trouble. So I think he's getting close to his level. But his punch selection and speed and movement is all pretty good. He just lacks a little bit of power. My biggest worry for Justice was getting through the fight without breaking a hand because he has problems with his hands. He has had some surgery, and as we know, he was stopped from going to the Olympics because of hand problems. But yeah, he's moving along. He's fought a couple of decent guys in his last 2 fights. He had that win over Andrew Tabiti in Mexico. It was pretty decent. And this Kevin Lorena fight is a pretty decent fight for your 8th fight or 9th fight. So how far can he go? I'm not so sure. He could definitely cause some trouble for some gatekeepers, maybe. He's a similar sort of style to a Joseph Parker, but a bit more active, really, isn't he? So we'll just have to wait and see how far he goes. But he's a pretty skilled fighter. I'll give him that much.
Did you see that fight, Rafi?
No.
Yeah, I ended up watching that fight after.
I fell asleep. I fell asleep before the show. I was gonna go. It's 10 p.m. 10 minutes past 10 p.m. and Ball had just started fighting, and I thought, I'm going to skip this one, and I'm going to go in like maybe 11. So anyway, I had it on the TV. It was on the right channel, and I remember the last thing I remember was looking at my watch, and it said 10 minutes past 10, and then I woke up and I looked at the screen. And it said Parker, it said Zhang v. Parker, round 12. So I pretty much missed the entire whole damn thing and woke up just in time for Joshua versus Ngannou. Incredible.
That's why you found the fight boring, because you were watching the back of your eyelids.
I missed the whole entire thing. A few rounds of Ball versus whatever that cat's name. What's his name?
Ray Vargas.
Vargas. Ball v Vargas. And then the 12th round of Zhang v Parker. And then the 2-rounder fight of Joshua versus Ngannou. But I tell you what, at least I was fresh for it. A lot of those cats, they started like 7 hours earlier when it was supposed to, expecting they were going to be on for 2 hours. And because Joshua was scheduled to be on 10:30 p.m. UK time, he actually went live after 12. So all the other uploaders went ahead about 2 or 3 hours earlier than they should. And then when you look at their streams, they lasted around 7 hours. And by the time it came to Joshua Ngannou, they were practically sleeping.
The trick for lives for the fights might be do one fight at a time when it's the Saudi cards, because they tend to have a lot of stuff in between fights, don't they? So
yeah, they got all that shit.
Stuff being live for 7 hours. Far out.
Yeah, that is crazy. When I heard Joshua them say like the fight was done and there at the press conference 4:30 in the morning, I'm like, well, what time did y'all start this shit?
Yeah.
The fight's over and you're at the press conference and it's 4:30 in the morning? That's ridiculous.
4:30 in the morning. The Saudis do it differently. It's like the promotion, the during the pre-promotion, the during promotion, during the event promotion and activities, and then the post-promotion. It's at a different level. Personally, I'll be honest with you, I'm glad I fell asleep because I was dog tired, and I woke up nice and fresh, whereas other people have been live for about 6 hours by that time.
Crazy.
So I'm glad I fell asleep. Truth be told, I'm glad I fell asleep. But did anybody watch the Ball fight? Because there's a lot of controversy about that. They said Ball was fighting dirty, but then I hear that Vargas was kind of trying to lay on him, and Ball ended up judo hip tossing him around the ring a couple of times, got a couple of UFC chokeholds in. So I hear.
You want to go, Kong?
I don't think Kong saw it.
No, I watched a couple of the highlights, but that's about it.
Did you watch it?
It looked like a number 10 fighting itself.
Right.
Yeah, no, I did watch it. Ray Vargas was on the floor about 7 or 8 times. He only got knocked down officially twice, and one of them wasn't really a knockdown. So it was what it was. Definitely, Ball was fighting dirty, but Ray Vargas was trying to grab him all the time, trying to smother him all the time. So he was fighting to get out of clinches, and the ref wasn't doing nothing about Vargas grabbing, so he had to take matters into his own hands.
Yeah.
And with the height difference, there's not much else. If the ref's not going to help him, there's not much else he can do. He didn't end up getting any points taken off. So it was what it was. I guess the ref was sympathizing to him a degree with how much Vargas was grabbing him. Yeah. But I scored it 6 rounds to Vargas and 6 to Nick Ball with the 2 knockdowns. What's that? 113, 111.
Right.
So I thought it couldn't have been a draw, but there was a couple of closer rounds in there. I think there was one in the first 6 that I thought Ball got, and one in the second 6 that I thought Vargas got. But there was a couple of rounds in that first and second half where you could have gone either way. At worst, I thought it could have been a draw. So I'm not complaining too much about the decision, but I do think the wrong man. I think Nick Ball really did win that fight. I'm really hoping the governing body is going to order a rematch for that. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But Ray Vargas is definitely the weakest champion in the division, and he was lucky to get out of that with his belt.
Dime. Where are we at now? I was looking at the thumbnail. Okay. So, What else was there on the card that that was noteworthy? Bull, talked about Bull Vargas, we talked about Parker Zhang, we talked about Joshua and Ngannou. Was there a
Chamberlain Gwyn was a good fight.
Oh, talk to me about that. I didn't see it. I didn't see none.
Well, Gavin Gwyn's usually pretty good at soaking up heavy punches and whatnot, and he was doing so, dishing out some of his own as well. But Chamberlain was just so much quicker, so much more accurate, and so more vicious. I can't remember what round it was, but the towel came in at the end of one of the rounds, and the referee had stopped the fight at the same time anyway. So Mark Chamberlain moves on. Prince Turkey got him on the card because he's seen him and thought he's an exciting fighter, and he certainly showed that's exactly what he is. So he'll be back on the next Saudi card, I imagine, and the sky's the limit for Mark Chamberlain at the moment.
Yeah. Turkey Al Sheikh likes him, so that's a damn good sign. So, Kong, I haven't asked you, where does Joshua? How do you? I don't think you broke down. How do you rate Joshua's performance? How did you rate the performance?
How else do you rate that? The man pretty much, ended Francis Ngannou's entire combat sports career. That might have permanently destroyed his chin.
It might have.
That might have destroyed his chin. And I can only give it a 10.
Yeah.
Because he did exactly what he was supposed to do perfectly. He could have let it go a little while longer because I really wanted to see the fight live. But then I was like, I spent a whole $10 American dollars to get to the zone. Now I don't have nothing else to watch. Yeah, whatever. So, but it was a 10. As far as where he goes from there, what's next for Joshua? I think Joshua should wait for the IBF belt to become vacant. Let these two people fight and fight Hrgovic. Hrgovic has been talking a lot of stuff. I'm not impressed by Anthony Joshua. As if people are impressed by him. I will never understand why Michael Hunter did not fight Filip Hrgovic. Crazy. Now his career is finished. Yeah. Because Hrgovic is nothing special. I think Joshua would put an absolute highlight reel on Filip Hrgovic. Yeah. And it would make him a 3-time champion. So that's I think Joshua needs about a month or two rest. Yeah. For a big man like that, 4 fights in a space of a year, they say. That's a lot. And a good rest, some good relaxation, maybe do a little yoga, a little stretching to keep yourself limber. Yeah. You could be in the gym, but no sparring and nothing like that. Just relax yourself. Yeah, keep limber. Time to wind down a little bit so you could ramp back up. Yeah. But that's my vision for Joshua. Hrgovic, IBF belt. Yeah. And do another highlight reel on this dude because this guy is an underachiever. I think he's lazy in his career, and I think Joshua would absolutely decimate Filip Hrgovic. So it might be a while. It might be a while before Joshua gets a crack at Fury. Might be a while. So he's going to be waiting on a championship fight, Fury or Usyk, and in that time, I think he's going to have time for another gimmick fight. He's going to have time for another gimmick fight, and allow me to present to you, Kong, my first option of a gimmick fight, Andreas the Punch Ruiz. And let me tell you why I say that, because I think this time, he might be able to deal with Ruiz the way we wanted to see him deal with Ruiz in the second fight. I think he's now acquired the skill and the comfortability within his skin to fight him in a defensively sound manner, but yet a more aggressive manner.
That's what I want to see. That's the way I wanted to see him against Ruiz in the second fight, even the first fight. And I think there's time for a gimmick fight. There's going to be time for a gimmick fight. I present to you Andreas the Punch Ruiz. Iron Kong.
You consider the Punch a gimmick fight? No, oh man.
Well, being 18 months out of the ring, I say that's a gimmick fight now.
I don't even know what Ruiz is doing nowadays. It's so strange. Neither him or Deontay Wilder have anything planned on the horizon. I think, yeah, I mean that's an okay fight to me because, I mean,
back in Saudi,
Ruiz would probably do that coming off a 3-year layoff because in Ruiz's head, he's Anthony Joshua now.
Yeah.
And he should be getting $50 million to fight.
We're the A-side now.
Exactly. So, yeah, why not? But I think Joshua should get the IBF belt.
Right.
If it comes vacant. And splatter Philip Hogovich. But if the Pants wants to come over and, get punched up, yeah, why not?
Let me present to you my second gimmick fight. He goes by the name of the Bronze Bomber Wilder.
What, Rafi, is Wilder even still fighting?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I don't know.
I still want Wilder to fight Dillian White. How is Dillian White coming off of a drug suspension or whatever? Gets cleared.
It's quashed.
Okay, so it was quashed. He's back now, and he's already has a fight lined up with Christian Hammer.
Yeah.
And Wilder has nothing lined up.
That's Wilder for you.
The man has nothing doing. Nothing.
Nothing.
I still want Dillian White and Wilder to fight. I'm sorry. I want Dillian White to have that fight.
That'll be beautiful.
Oh.
That'll be beautiful.
That's a good call. I like that fight
Right.
too. Dillian White and Deontay Wilder. That makes sense. Dillian's not cleared though, is he? He's still got his case with the British Board of Boxing Control. It's only the Texas Commission that's given him. He's got a license to fight there.
Okay. I haven't read nothing about it. I just know that he's got a fight with Christian Haim. Where's that fight taking place?
Should be in Texas if that's the only place Dillian can fight.
Nah, I'm sure this is someplace like, what is it, Ireland or something?
Yeah, it is in Ireland. That's correct. It's in Ireland.
It won't be in Britain, is all.
Is Ireland not Britain?
Hold on.
It's the Republic of Ireland, isn't it?
Okay, that makes sense.
England, Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales is all Britain.
I thought it was England, Ireland. Maybe that's Northern Ireland is part of Britain. That's part of Ireland is part of Britain. Maybe it's Northern.
Yeah, it's one of them. Yeah, it's one of them. I can't remember which one.
Yeah. England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. But yeah. Dillian White partially back. I haven't read nothing about it.
Wait, hold on. They said Castlebar, Ireland. Where's Castlebar? Which island? Let me see. Let me Google
Well,
that.
it's either north or south. I mean, probably. I guess.
It's in the Republic of Ireland. So
Republic of Ireland.
Republic of Ireland. So he can fight there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Republic. Okay. The Republic. Okay. What's going on here? I went in the first Lara fight against all the odds. He did a number on Wood. Great fight. I knew he would win, but then Wood comes back and spanks him.
He's a warrior, that boy.
Straight up. Bacoli v. White would be another great fight. Martin is not getting a look in, both inactive. You're right. I'm overlooking Bacoli. Bacoli is a big talent. And
Bacoli's a joke, man. All he talks about, they ducking me, I'm sparring and knock everybody out in sparring. And you have his idiot trainer, Billy Nelson. Oh, everybody's ducking Martin. Oh, they're afraid of him. A little haggis with a little whatever. Man, shut up.
Yeah. Well, Bacoli, he took care of took care of Yoka. He's taking care. He took care of Yoka. He took care of Takam. The guy, you know, you got to give him his due. He deserves some fights now. Let's see him. Let's be fair. Let's see him over there. Fly him out. I thought he was in the conversation to be over there in Saudi.
Isn't he signed Ben Shalom?
Is he with Ben? I don't know. Is he
Ben
with
finding
Ben?
some
Yes,
fights?
yeah, he's with Boxer.
He's a boxer. But I thought he was in the conversation to be over there in Saudi at one point. Can't remember the specifics or the details, but yeah, let Bakoli have his.
He fought Tekam in Saudi.
Oh, dang. Fought Takam in Saudi. Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bakoli, let's see more Bakoli. I like Bakoli. I like him. I like his movement for a big guy. His punch output for a big guy. Hey, I tell you what. Well, it's not going to happen, but Bakoli would give Zili Zhang Bang fits with his punch output.
He would, and he hits hard enough to do damage as well. So
yeah,
that's a problem. But you know, he's been lined up for fights. He could have been in Otto Wallen's position. He was initially supposed to be fighting Murat Gassiev for the top position, but he pulled out and Otto Wallen jumped in. It could have been Martin Bakoli fighting Anthony Joshua on the last Saudi card.
Wow, that's crazy.
Thanks, Billy. It's Billy Nelson. He's a dickhead, I tell you. It's his problem.
What happened? What did Billy do?
He's the guy who keeps convincing Martin that he's worth more money than he is.
Oh, no.
So he's really hard to negotiate with, and even fights that do get made, he manages to get Martin to pull out of them, like the Gassiev fight. So
that's sad. That's sad. Billy Nelson
needs a different manager because he's his manager and trainer, right? So he needs to get a different manager. That's
a conflict of interest. Stay with him as a trainer, but get yourself a manager. But it's just like boxers, you know, they get hoodwinked. And, you know, Billy Nelson ain't doing what's best for Martin Bakoli. I don't even think Billy Nelson's doing what's best for Billy Nelson. So definitely needs to have a look, a different management structure. Is your trainer, let your trainer be a trainer, your manager be a manager. Come on now. Might be a conflict of interest there. And you know, I think we've done it. I don't know what other elements. Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury v Joshua. Who does it look like it's going to win? I can't wait for this fight. I've always thought Joshua beats Tyson Fury. I've always thought that. And I think as time goes by, I've become more and more convinced of it, rather less and less convinced of it. Even in his lowest time, I think Joshua, even after the second Usyk win, which is probably his lowest point, I still would have fancied Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury is someone Anthony Joshua is always going to get up for. Big boys boxing.
Yeah, I thought that the fight a few years ago would probably have been quite competitive. Now, I think it's only speculation, but I think Tyson Fury's well past his best. Those 3 wars with Deontay Wilder took a lot out of him. I think his legs aren't what they used to be, but in saying that, he's been carrying a hell of a lot more weight since he came back from his hiatus. But just the last, like the pictures you see of him in Saudi at the event over the weekend, he looks in a hell of a lot better shape. You can see his face isn't looking so fat. His skin's looking a lot better. So maybe he's really taking Usyk extremely seriously, and he's trying to get back to something like he was when he fought Vlad. If that's the case, then it could be a very competitive fight. As we know, Tyson Fury's got a lot of skill and he's very adaptable. I don't know if Joshua is quite as adaptable, but I think he's a lot more solid with his fundamentals. He's got a lot more power. So I think right now, if they fought within the next year or so, I think Anthony Joshua knocks him out without a doubt within 7 rounds.
Iron Kong.
What happened with Tyson Fury?
We're talking about Joshua v. Tyson Fury because that's the fight that I think many people, myself, I think a lot of people, if you say what's going to be the more exciting fight, Fury v. Joshua or Fury v. Usyk, I think most people feel it's going to be Fury.
No, of course Joshua, because I mean, eventually it's going to turn into a fight.
Yeah.
You know, of course that's the more exciting fight. I think it's going to, that's just what it is, So I prefer to watch that fight, but at first Tyson Fury has to get to Usyk, which I pick him to beat Usyk.
Right.
And let's hope that he doesn't mess around with Anthony Joshua.
Well, that's the question. How does Joshua versus Tyson Fury look?
I pick Joshua over Tyson Fury all the time. I don't change my opinion on Joshua. Thump off that boy, easy. Right. Check it out. I believe he have an aversion to fighting Anthony Joshua. He will have to show me that he's that much better than Anthony. He'll just have to show it to me. But for me, watching Tyson Fury fight, I think Joshua could deal with that boy.
I've always thought that, but I've got a bad feeling. I don't like these back-to-back rematches. Never have. Didn't like it with Joshua v. Usyk, but it was forced. It had to be that way due to certain circumstances with governing bodies. It had to be, but I don't like them. I think there's more. I equate the story to back in the day. There was when the Rafi started work. There was this very famous lady, and she was famous. She became famous, and then as happened, some previous photos of her in the nude were found by an unscrupulous photographer, and he sold them to Playboy magazine for an obscene amount of money. So there was me and two workmates. We were young, late teens, and we all went down to the news agents at lunchtime, and one of the guys, he stumped up the money, and we bought the Playboy mag, put it in a brown paper bag, went back to work, found a quiet place, and for some reason they handed it to me. And I opened the magazine at the first page, and I was going through page by page. Now the guy who bought it, he said, "Why don't you get to the part where she is?" But you know me, my natural inclination, I said, "No, let's get to it slowly. I just don't want to turn. I just don't want to just get right there. I don't want to just
like foreplay.
Yeah. I want to get to it slowly." So I turned, and the other guy said, No. He didn't want to go fast either. He was on my page. He was like, page by page until we get to it. Yeah, page by page until we get to it. And so I like the build-up. I like the anticipation. A fight and then an immediate rematch takes out all the anticipation for me. I want the drama of what happens in between. Maybe somebody loses, but it don't matter. You still want to see the fight, and then that's the story. That's the story, not just a fight back to back. Nah, have the fight, have a couple fights in between, and then come back developed. You have to think about, well, what has such and such developed? He needs to do this. Has he done it? What does the other guy need to do to stay ahead? To me, there's way more drama when there's something in between. So for me, I know it's not going to happen, but if I said before you came on, Kong, I said I would love for them, Fury and Usyk, to have the undisputed fight. But then, at the end of the year, Fury v. Joshua, and come what may, whatever, early 2025, regardless, there's a second undisputed fight now. Who is against Usyk or whoever won it? I don't care. Undisputed, Fury v. Joshua, and then undisputed again. Who's in it? I really don't care. But we get on this way. It's a compromise. We get undisputed and we get Fury v. Joshua in 1 year. Iron Kong.
Sorry if I stepped away. I was doing something. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Fury versus Usyk, undisputed. May. End of the year.
I got Tyson Fury by decision.
Okay, and then Fury versus Joshua end of 2014, and then undisputed beginning of 2025. So that way we get undisputed and Fury Joshua in 2020.
Yeah, I got Joshua by TKO the fight.
And then they go on and undisputed 2024. That's the way. That's the only way I can see them. That satisfies both cravings, because really and truly, I know it goes against what we've all said and what we think, but really and truly, out of all of them three, the number one fight for me next is Joshua versus Usyk. But undisputed has to happen. It has to happen first. But the fight I'm looking forward to most, I'm looking forward to Usyk versus, Tyson Fury versus Joshua more than I'm looking forward to undisputed. But the undisputed should happen first. It will happen next, and that's great. But in truth, the more exciting fight is Fury v Joshua, and that's the one that really I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to both of them. I'm looking forward to both of them. You know what I mean? Looking forward to both of them. Has anybody kept up before we go? Has anybody kept up with the Ryan Garcia saga? He's losing his mind, apparently. Have you kept up with it, big boys?
Yeah, I noticed he's toned it down a bit now because people are starting to think that he's a bit crazy, and that's not good for promotion. So he's toned it down a little bit now, but yeah, he's saying some really weird shit for a while there, wasn't he? Out of it. But yeah, I'm gonna take off in a minute. So just a scenario for you. I'm picking Usyk to stop Fury late. I think that's probably the best thing, because that way I think Tyson Fury will flag the rematch, and then we'll get Joshua versus Fury.
Excellent.
And we'll still have undisputed, because Philip Hrgovic can fight Usyk and maintain the 4 belts. And Fury v Joshua doesn't need belts. It's a massive fight anyway. So I think that's a good way we can get it. So let's go Usyk.
Excellente, excellente. And that was the Big Boys Boxing. Much appreciation. He's got his own channel. Go check him out. Big Boys Boxing. Much appreciation. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
You too, man. Take it easy, fellas.
Okay. And then there were two. And what is there? What is there? What is there? What is there? I feel like it's good. I feel like we're good. We've gone to the 2-hour mark. I can think of some other things that I could touch on, but why bother? We've already done it. It's nice and neat and tidy. I can make a couple of videos tomorrow. I'm Kong. Good to see you. How's it going with you anyway? We ain't seen you around. I don't know if you've been around. I don't know if you're busy over there, obviously. Probably house building by now. I don't know.
Sorry, Rafi.
It's okay.
Boys them keep talking to me.
Yeah, it's okay, man. The kids are there. They're growing. You've been busy over there in St. Kitts, no doubt. I ain't seen you. We ain't heard from you.
Things have been really rough, Rafi. A lot of family health issues.
Oh, no.
So I've been really on the times right now. It's been a really poor time for me. Yes.
Sometimes it be like that. All we can do is hope for the best. All we can do is hope for the best for you, Kong. Just hope.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, man, Rafi. I appreciate it. Come on, because I just want a little. When I see you on, I say, bye. Rafi always make me feel better. Shaw make me feel better. So come on. I just reason with the and we just start boxing. You know what I mean? And thank you, man. It's probably late there, so I'm gonna let you just get off and do your thing, man.
Beautiful. And that is the Iron Kong. He's got his own channel. There's things going on. There's health issues, which we've talked about before. I just hope and pray that everything can work out positively. You know what I'm saying? Positively. Yeah, man. I hope and pray. Okay. And that's where we're going to leave it. We're busy people. We're working men. It's times like these. You realize how limited, just time constraints. But, you know, I could have easily just blown it off. I could have easily just said, nah, I'll do it tomorrow, which I did blow it off. I was feeling tired. I don't know. I just feel more tired these days. When I was working half of the week from home and half in the office, it was different. I didn't feel so fatigued. But there's a difference between waking up at 8:30 and getting a coffee and, you know, getting in the shower and getting to your desk for like 5 to 9, and then you got your little toast, you got your egg on toast, and you're doing your work from home. You haven't had the 2 hour, you haven't had to travel anywhere, you haven't had to get up 2 hours before. You know, there's a difference. But then from working from home from half of the week, I didn't think the other half would make such a difference. There is a difference, man. There's a fatigue difference. Because I do stay active, even though it's office work. I do stay active. I do either go training at lunchtime or I go for a walk. Which, you know, I go for a walk for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. It's an hour break. So I do stay active and I do hit my targets. I do hit my step goals. So I do stay active. And remember, I walk home. I walk home too. So, you know, by the time I get in, all I want to do is crash out on the sofa and eat my dinner, and then we're good. And I've been watching some old episodes of Crime Watch, like 30 years ago. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to old episodes of Crime Watch UK. I'm addicted. The old ones. So yeah, so come on, crash, eat. So I could have easily blown it off, but I thought, no, discipline. I got an obligation to myself and the rdcr fraternity and people far and wide, worldwide. I have an obligation. I have a worldwide obligation to fulfill a certain quota, a certain amount of entertainment that I need to give out to you, the rdcr crew, and further than that, beyond, far and beyond the YouTubes. You know what I'm saying? So I'll live up to the obligation. It's a goal I set for myself. So the least I can do is meet my own targets. So I said, put it off till tomorrow. No, let's do it tonight. And I'm so glad I did. So glad I did, because it entertains you and it entertains me. And what can I say? Thank you to the John D. Lee jumping on early. Got an early day tomorrow. Still took time out to do it. Much appreciation. Thank you to the Big Boys Boxing. He's got his own things going on there. We've all got our own things going on, our good things, the bad things, the trials and tribulations. You know what I mean? All mixed in. Yeah, we all go through it. So much thanks to him. And then, of course, the Iron Kong. You know, there's family health issues going on, which he has spoken about before. So I have no idea what we're talking about. I can just pass on my hopes and wishes that things work out for the best, or we get the best possible outcomes. Trials and tribulations, hey, we can't get away from them, mate. It's part of life. We can just hope for the best possible outcomes and deal with whatever life throws at us. Okay, it's real life, folks. This ain't no game. Enjoy it while we have it. Hopes and wishes go out to all those who need it. Okay. What can I say? It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comments. It's the shares. And it is the hitting the bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. Don't forget about the live show. Don't forget about the videos. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Links in the description box. Raphael Dawkins, Combat Radio, and we are out. Blessed.